Begin with that breaking news. A state of emergency in California as deadly fires explode across the state.
Two major fires forcing the mandatory evacuations of more than 200,000 people, including the entire city of Malibu.
The intensifying Woolsey Fire has quadrupled in size in just hours. Firefighters are doing their best to battle the raging flames as they jump from one house to the next.
But to be able to think back on it now and realize the little things that maybe fell into place that put us where we were.
It was fairly remarkable how fast the fire was moving. When we were patrolling that area in the early morning hours, I remember at some point remarking to Chris, hey, do you realize it's 10 o'clock in the morning?
Visibility, I would say, was probably just maybe 5 to 10 feet out in front of the truck. And what we could see through the smoke was just balls of orange, which happened to be bushes, trees, or structures that were on fire.
L.A.County, you need to bring us on to. Stand by. We're going to make access to the home. If you've got contact with the patient, tell her to exit the home immediately to the front.
Copy through the front. We'll try calling her now.
The first call comes in for that Horizon address. That is broadcast to the branch, which goes to the group, and then eventually it comes to us. In this case, the particular call that ended up being the one that we assisted on is a phone call for an evacuation because somebody realizes now that they're trapped in their home and they can see fire. Here's where I'm at. It sounds like a bomb is going off outside. There's fire all over. All I can see is fire, and now my house is on fire, and then the line goes dead. We have to go up there. I mean, we're gonna have to get up there somehow. If we can get up there, we're gonna have to try. And it's probably not gonna be a case of where we're gonna look and feel comfortable doing it, but at some point you make that decision.
We've got to take a risk here, which we decided we've got a life that we need to save, and it was a no-brainer for us.
And so we made 4 attempts, 2 on each side ultimately over that period of time.
At that point, we really had to rely on the Avenza on our phones.
You got a little ways up the hill and you immediately are 0 visibility, fire activity, wind, and now infrastructure down. You're looking at the clock and the clock says 11:45 and you're looking out the window and it's midnight. And really and truly what we ended up doing was following the blue dot up the road. This is where being together helped. Chris was able to drive and pay attention to the road the whole time, or what he could see. And I was able to look down at the blue dot, really, and at least get us to where, okay, we think the road that we need to take is here. So can we get out and take a look? Oh yeah, this is the road.
So again, proceeding slow, we sort of navigated the wires, the fire, and the smoke. We had the power poles that were leaning at a 45-degree angle. And then the actual fire itself was on our right and left-hand side.
So we turn a corner and the house is right there. And there's this large metal mailbox with the address. And it was funny because at that moment, vision cleared like 10 feet. And it was like, stop, there it is. And it was just funny. It did it for a second. We saw it and then smoke came back.
I believe it was fate because literally at that moment, 10, 15 feet out ahead of us, where we couldn't see before, all of a sudden the smoke clears for just a brief second, and you see her address. There was 4 immediate structures in front of us, 2 to our left and 2 out in front of us, and they were completely on fire. So you can imagine the heat, the smoke, and the visibility were all, it was pretty dramatic.
It was almost like, oh my gosh, we're here finally. He said, I'm gonna get the vehicle turned around so we can get out of here if we need to. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go see if I can find whoever's here.
My concern at this point was our egress. So when Pete jumped out, I told him I would turn the car around and get us in a good spot.
Anywhere fire wasn't really moving, it was burning, things were burning. All these houses up here, some of the stuff I can see, you know, these hills, just different things burning and going down this road, probably kind of at a jog. The house was set back about 300 feet from the main road. I know that time is of the essence and I want to get this person and get out of here if I can. But I just started calling out, hey, fire department, is anybody here? That's what I was yelling. Hello, is anybody here? Can you hear me? And nothing. There was actually a fallen tree and a wire across about halfway between me and where the house ended up being. So I almost walked right into that, chest high, you know, another one of those things. There was trees laying across, so I stepped over those and just kept going. Where, you know, it's not funny, but it is a little bit like, what am I doing here, you know? So got underneath that, and then all of a sudden I hear somebody call back to me. And at first I thought, oh, they're in this trailer. Like, that's not good because the whole trailer's burning. And then I'm like, man, I hope they're not in the trailer. I kept running and I kept yelling, don't stop yelling. It's the fire department, we're here. And I get back there. I'm looking at a 2-story house. The top of the house is on fire. The second floor is burning. And I come down here and I hear Cheryl call back out to me. And I come around the corner and hear Cheryl in the courtyard as far away from the house as she could get, which was only about 10 feet. And she's right over here by this other little wall. And the front door's right here. It's burning. And she's leaning up against this wall right here. And she's got a garden hose in her hand. And she's leaning on the wall. And I don't know what it sounds like when you think that maybe you're in the last moments of your life, but I will say when I came around the corner, what I saw from her was, okay, this just changed. So
For the better?
For the better. Yeah, things just changed for me. And I thought it was gonna go one way, and now here's this firefighter. I get on the radio immediately and I tell Chris, I found her. I'm back at the house. We're gonna start coming to you.
I communicated with LA, let them know that we'd made contact with the patient, that we were extricating her and performing a rescue. At this point, I got out of the vehicle and I met up with Pete.
So we start going, and it's a slow walk pace. And we get out to that bend where I had come around to the courtyard, and Chris shows up. And now it's, okay, we're gonna carry you, just hold on to us.
Pete and I made the quick decision to grab her by an arm and a leg on each side, the old fireman carry.
When we started down that path, now we're back to stepping over trees and under wires and all that. So having Chris with me there, it would have been real difficult for me to negotiate that with Cheryl and myself.
It was kind of like playing limbo a little bit with a victim in your arms, going through and under wires, and then finally we got her to my vehicle.
Trinket staging 53. We're bringing a female, approximately 6 years old, down, minor injury, low ventilation.
We turned the air conditioning on, selected some music, and then we just introduced ourselves and got to know each other.
And then our mission was just to get down the hill.
So we played Follow the Blue Dot again, down the hill.
Got her out of my vehicle onto a gurney, and I just remember her grabbing us and wanting to know our names and our numbers.
Thank you very much, and hugs, and yes, absolutely, and okay, you're safe now, you're with the paramedics and the ambulance crew. Get back in the vehicle, like, whew, okay, what's next? You know, so.
In the face of danger, risking their own safety to save another person's life, the department is pleased to present a Medal of Valor to Fire Captain Peter Finnerty and Fire Captain Christopher Siok.
It was like the end of the world for me, but because I have faith in God, I knew that maybe there was some hope. And because of Cheryl, when I was on the phone with her on 911, she kept telling me for an hour and 15 minutes that someone would come. But then I gave up hope. And then all of a sudden, I want to say this first though, my whole house was on fire on the inside. And I was in the kitchen, and I heard these words from God. I didn't see him. He said, Cheryl, go in the courtyard. And I thought, how can I go in the courtyard? The living room's on fire. And so I looked towards the living room and I saw that I could open the front door. And I went outside and I tried to turn the hose on to get out the little flames that were in the courtyard, because I used to play with my little animals in the courtyard. And I didn't even know if they were dead or alive, but I wanted to think positive. And all of a sudden, these two wonderful firemen said, we're here to save Cheryl. And I couldn't believe that God sincerely had a lot to do with saving my life and these two men. I want to thank the fire department for everything they've done. That was the worst fire I had ever seen in my life. I've lived through many, but nothing like this. And so to all the firemen, all I can say is, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And all the hard work you put in, and you never gave up. You did what you could do. It was a nightmare, because I saw it all. And that's it. I'm here to say that's my testimony. And if you don't believe there's something better than this, I don't know what to tell you guys. I really don't, because I heard his voice and why he told me to go in the